Destined With You is probably one of the craziest shows that I've watched recently. Definitely one of the craziest K-dramas I've watched in 2023, and this is coming from someone that watched The Glory. Destined With You is just crazy spell casting, witchy, dark fest. Hi, I'm Monique. I am the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Destined With You. And I have to say right off the bat, the reason why I got into this K-drama was because there was this incredible edit on TikTok featuring Rowoon, and I'm gonna just say it had Pony, Pony from Genuine, the remix of Pony featuring Genuine, and the face card was not declining. And I said, I absolutely have to watch this K-drama with this man in it. Little did I know it was just gonna be off the wall, just balls to wall crazy. And I'm still kind of shaking my head. I'm 4 episodes in right now. By the time I post this to streaming platforms and to YouTube, it will probably be episode 5, which I'm really looking forward to because the previews are crazy. And I just want to talk about it a bit because it starts off with this TikTok edit, then me watching the show, and one of the opening shots is this man being seductively caressed by a demon spirit. I can't tell you just the visceral reaction of seeing a bloody hand just slowly going up this cold-blooded lawyer's torso towards his neck, and him flirting and seducing this spirit. But I'm getting off tangent. I guess I should break down the premise of this very weird show where we're dealing with the 2 main characters. One, Hyungjo, who is a civil servant, and she's tasked with having to be part of the demolition of a haunted house. And then we have Jang Shi-yo, or Shang-yu, who is tasked with basically being a thorn in her side because it's his property. So they meet relatively early in the show and they're butting heads. And with Hyungju in general, she is a very isolated, lonely character. She works in an office where pretty much the majority of the coworkers do not like her. She has a problem specifically with her supervisor in the department. They had a past run-in and she ended up tattling on him, and he's now holding a grudge towards her. The coworkers don't like her because of the supervisor's grudge towards her, and it's just a very sad life that she's living. And then with the lawyer, this cold, brutal, mysterious lawyer, he has this very debilitating disease that is hereditary, and it highly increases the chances of having a stroke or having any having neurological defects and potentially losing control of his hands and feet. It's very debilitating, and this disease might be tied to a curse. And there is this demon spirit that seems to be visiting him at random points in time. Now these 2 meet, and this property becomes a central point into the storyline. Very, very abrupt, and he is not very charmed by her, and Hyungju is very exasperated by him, and she has her own crush on another lawyer that seemingly is just a good guy, but jury's out on that. He's like the second lead. And it comes to the point where she actually has this confession where she tells this second lead, this next lawyer, oh my god, I really like you, and I want this to be something. And the lawyer basically rejects her flat out flat out rejects her, and it's filmed unknowingly to her by her coworkers, and then it's blasted all over the office the next day. So she is very much angry and humbled and hurt by this. And then on top of that, she was given this weird wooden box that seemingly has this strange lock that cannot be opened, that contains a spell book inside of it that was given to her by said cold lawyer, not the one that she likes, but you know, the main lead. And she opens this box. It ends up being a spell book, and one of the spells in it is a love spell, and you already know how that's gonna go. She takes a page out of this love spell out of this spell book and basically performs witchcraft. And because she's feeling vengeful and she's feeling rejected and slighted, she thinks it's a brilliant idea now to go get a love potion made to then get this second lead, this lawyer, to fall in love with her, which is one of the worst things. I love witchcraft. I love the element of using spells, but love spells in particular always are dubious, even in like fictional context settings, because of the whole question of consent, right? So it's already not looking too great. And what do you think happens with that love potion? Who do you think ends up drinking the love potion? Because I can tell you it's not actually her crush. Yes, of course, it turns out to be the main lead that ends up drinking this, and other men in the department actually end up drinking this love potion as well. But yet the only person that seems to be really affected by it is the main lead. So it just gets into this very long, convoluted mess. And then on top of this convoluted mess, the main lead, because of his debilitating disease, he goes back to her, because the whole reason why he was given this wooden box was because it belongs to a shaman that originally has dealings with this haunted mansion that I say is like a central part of the storyline. And he's trying to find a way to get rid of this disease, obviously, because it's very frightening, it's very scary, it's affecting his professional life, it's affecting his personal life. I mean, he's driving and he can lose control of the vehicle. It's affecting his 2-year relationship he had with his girlfriend, which he ended up having to break up with because of this because of this debilitating disease, this curse. So he wants any way to get out of it. So he ends up giving the box to the main female lead. She takes the box, makes this cockamamie love spell, has caused a mess, and he goes back to her and he's like, I want you to basically heal me from this disease, so I need you to cast another spell. And lo and behold, of course she does it. She does it. She casts another spell, and it's supposed to take away disease from the body. But it's very ambiguous if it truly worked or not, because the love spell that she made for the second lead, her actual crush, did not work, but he ended up drinking it. The main lead, Jang Shi-yu, ended up drinking it. And it's just this big mess. I probably did not do a great job explaining this, but I'm telling you, the show is just off the wall crazy. And all of this leads to them finding out that they are destined to be in each other's lives. All of this machinations were supposed to happen, and not only are they destined to be together, they're destined to be in each other's lives. There is really no way to break this curse or to break this spell, and they will just have to accept the circumstance for what it is. That is how episode 4 left us. So I am very intrigued by this show. On one hand, I love the darker elements of the first 2 episodes, where I was telling you about the reveal of his disease, how it's debilitating in his life, both professional and personal. I also like the inclusion of the demon, like the visceral reaction of seeing this bloodied hand just kind of stroking up his torso that's kind of taunting him, is very creepy and very cool. I think the element of spells and shamans also makes the show really interesting and intriguing as well. But then there's also the element of using a love spell to make someone fall in love. The wrong person ends up drinking it, of course, and them being forced to deal with the fact that they have feelings for you which they don't want, but yet being told that it's your destiny to be together, and whether you like it or not, you just have to accept that both of you are going to be in each other's lives, which is very dubious. So having to play that off and make us root for these two despite the fact that both of them can't stand one another is going to be interesting. I'm going to really be interested in how the show is going to juggle that line of morality and make a clear distinction to the audience that it's not the spell work and it's not the destiny, it's them actively choosing to want to be together and it not being toxic. So I'm really curious of how the show is going to balance that line and make it believable, because sometimes K-dramas can sell it. They can get the craziest premise out there and they can sell it. In other circumstances, you're kind of left disappointed. But I can tell you the chemistry is fire. The chemistry is fire. The show is crazy. I just felt crazy just even explaining it to you all. I was basically all over the place because that's how I feel watching the show. But yet it's very enjoyable right now. The first two episodes were a lot darker in tone. The other 2, 3, and 4 were a lot more slapstick and silly, and you can see the actors are having a really great time with it. I think Rawoon in particular, he has this great way of shutting down emotions very quickly. He can do very stoic, very cold, very brusque, and then go really slapstick and silly within like 0.5 seconds. And in both instances, it's believable. And I think the chemistry is just great. It is absolutely an enemies to lovers, like a genuine enemies to lovers, which I love when that trope is done correctly, because it's done so badly most of the time. A lot of the times the characters, you can tell that in the first instances that they actually did like each other, but they were pretending that they didn't like each other, or one side really likes one character, the other side really doesn't. But it's ambiguous. No, with the start of this show, both of them do not like each other, and it's pretty obvious that they're very angry at the fact that this spell has kind of trapped them together. This destiny that they don't really understand yet is trapping them together. So it's just a mismatch, and I'm just curious to see where the show's gonna go. But I'm really excited about it. I just feel like it's just been hit after hit in 2023. I've had a lot of shows to watch, and a lot of them are just really great. And definitely in my next episode, I am going to be talking about this show in more detail, especially with episode 5 coming on the way. I have a feeling I'm going to stick with this one for a while, so you better stay tuned for that. So thank you for watching this episode. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Subscribe, share. If you're listening via Spotify or any other podcasting service, thank you. Please share. I appreciate it. Till the next episode. Bye.